When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
Yes! Playoff tickets! Just need to click here and... Wait, what? Fake site? Good thing McAfee threw the red flag. That would have been $400 gone.
McAfee blocks risky sites so you don't pay for seats and other things that don't exist. Plans start at just $39.99 for your first year. That's cheaper than parking on game day. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
In Walmart's Nouville, time was ticking away. Only a few nights left till the big holiday. But last-minute gifters had no need to worry. Walmart Express Delivery got their gifts in a hurry. From Nintendo to Nespresso and Lego Flowers, they could check off their lists in as fast as an hour. All of Nouville, East, West, South, and North, could order gifts up until 5 p.m. on December 24th. So this holiday, just do as the Who's do. With gift delivery this fast, they all gasped. From Walmart? Who knew? Subject to availability, terms and fees apply.
Welcome to the Junior Golf Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping parents and juniors navigate through the journey of junior golf. From fitness to mental coaching, we cover it all on this podcast. Here's your host, Ro Thompson.
2, 1. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Junior Golf Podcast. I'm your host, Ro Thompson. And as always, we have a special guest in the building tonight. None other than Taneka Mackey. How you doing, Taneka?
I'm doing great. Can't complain.
Listen, thank you so much for agreeing to do this podcast. I've been following you for years and years and years on the LPGA tour. And I wanted to bring you on because I know as a former caddy, you had some great insights to help our junior golfers out there. We've been doing this podcast for a little over 5 years, and we've been able to help a lot of juniors and parents and all a lot of people as it relates to junior golf. And I know from what you see, there's some things that you could give our junior golfers some help with as far as, we're going to talk about from course management to mindset to staying calm. So this is going to be a good one tonight. I can't wait for this one. So, but before we get into all the good stuff, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Born and raised in the Bahamas, went to college in the States, played basketball and golf. And the first time I caddied was at a tournament here in the Bahamas, an LPGA tournament here in the Bahamas. And I signed up to be a volunteer, and I got thrown into being a caddy. And I got paired with Amy Olsen randomly. And then the next year I was on her bag part-time. And then I was on her bag for then 7 years after that. So caddying was never my intention. It just kind of fell into my lap, and it was amazing. So I loved it.
Wow. So tell us what that experience like, because when we watch it on TV, we're like, wow, they get to go to these nice country clubs. They get to travel, and we see all the good stuff. So tell us what that experience was like.
Oh, I mean, it was just awesome. Obviously, I love traveling. So going to Australia was always a bucket list. So going there for work made it even better. But what people don't realize is it's a grind. I mean, the the tournament is usually Monday through Sunday. So tournaments day, Monday you travel, then Tuesday you gotta walk the course, practice again on Wednesday for a pro-am, and then the tournament starts on Thursday. So luckily with my boss, we just did 3 weeks in a row usually. But I mean, it's 3 weeks in a row where you are working every single day for 3 weeks, including traveling across country. And you hope, obviously, you want to make the weekend, the cut, because then you make money. If you don't, then you lose money. So no, it's a grind, but I loved it. But I mean, like I say, it's 20 weeks a year. You're playing tournaments at minimum. But then, like I say, going to Australia and all of these different time zones, that 20 weeks takes, honestly, you're away from your family for about 27 weeks a year. So I was on the golf course more than I was in my own bed.
Wow. Yeah. Right. So and how long did you caddy?
I caddied for 9 years.
9 years. Okay. And that's long enough for you? That
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I could probably do a couple more events, but obviously I wanted a family, wanted a child, so he takes priority over me traveling around the world.
Right. Well, I know you're probably in one of the best shapes out of, as far as like your fitness, because the typical bag weighs about what, 30, 40 pounds?
43.
40, see, that's 43 pounds. And you did that for 6 miles, 7 miles, right?
Yeah, they're about 10.
Yeah, okay, 10 miles.
About.
Woo. I know you never gain any weight.
I just kept eating, but yeah, no, it just didn't really gain much. But then the bag got heavier. If it had rain gear, or if it started raining, then you're up to about 50.
Oh wow, 50 pounds for 10 miles. Wow. So let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk a little bit about, while you're on the bag, talk to us about, like, for example, what do you see as probably some of the most important decisions? Like, okay, so let's say a junior golfer, okay? What's a good like pre-shot routine that they should adopt to kind of play their best golf possible?
I mean, I think a pre-shot routine, it all depends on the person.
Right.
Like you say, some people jump up and down. Some people want to take 3 practice swings. Some people want to take 1. The most important thing with the practice, the routine, is it needs to be the same.
Right.
It only habitual. So if you're gonna take 1 swing and then line up your ball, and that's what you do, then that's what you do every single shot. That's one thing that once you find a pre-shot routine, you don't ever change it. Because it's something that the pre-shot routine in itself actually calms you down. So once you switch that, your mind, you may not really notice it, but your mind and your body notices a change. So then it can actually give you more anxiety or cause you to swing maybe a little faster. So whatever your pre-shot routine is, all the time. And I would say, obviously, being a caddy, try to keep it under 40 seconds, please.
Yes. Taneka, you was reading my mind, wasn't you? So, because I know they said when Tiger was at his best, it only took him about 13, I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was about 13, 14 seconds to actually hit his shot. So what you're telling everybody is try to keep it under 40 seconds. And that helps with the pace of play and, just kind of keeping everything the same, right?
Definitely. It for sure helps with pace of play, but it's also longer you're over the ball, the active it is for you, because the more you're thinking.
Right.
Once you want to make up, like the longest time you take is when you're thinking, okay, how far does the ball need to go? What club do I need? And that's you're probably taking about 15, 20 seconds, maybe making that decision. And then when it's time to hit the ball, I mean, you're going to hit it with, like, say, within 10 to 15 seconds. If it's taking you longer than that, then you're indecisive and you're not going to hit a good shot.
Right, right. That's right. Now, what's if let's say I'm a junior golfer and I hit a bad shot, and I know you've seen the gamut of what happens after a bad shot, you know, you know. So talk to us about a technique or something that the junior golfers can use to keep from having having one bad shot go into another bad shot.
I mean, obviously with junior golfers, you don't typically have a caddy, but
Right.
what I did with my players is I would give them a random fact where you're completely getting your mind off of golf.
Right.
So obviously with junior golfers is that's where you talk to your playing partner and don't talk about golf.
Right.
Where are you from? Where's your, just stuff like that. Like try to get your mind off of golf. And I think a lot of people they do like walking the fairways alone
Yeah.
is that you're giving yourself negative feedback. You're just in your head thinking about the last shot, thinking about the last hole. Even if you're not a talker, if you hit a bad shot, go talk to your competitor for 5 seconds so that way you have already forgotten your bad shot. So that's what I guess I would say to a junior golfer is if you hit a bad shot, if at all, if it's possible,
Right.
try to talk to your competitor.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're on the golf course, it's almost like an island, and you feel like you're by yourself, and
Yep.
you really don't want to talk to anybody because you think because sometimes you can think that if I talk to somebody, that kind of takes my focus off of the golf. But what you're basically saying is sometimes you need to take your focus off of the golf.
Yeah, or sing a song. But I mean, the thing is you're on the golf course. I mean, to play 18 holes, you're
Mhm.
at least out there for 4.5 hours.
Right.
You can't be focused for 4.5 hours because
Wow.
out of that 4.5 hours,
Yeah.
only about what 50 minutes of it is
Yeah.
actual. So you have to find something to do with
Yeah.
the other 4 hours or the other 3.5 hours. And if you're just thinking about golf or thinking about the shot you just hit or the shot you're going to hit, you're gonna just wear yourself down.
Yeah, yeah. That's some really good insight to help our junior golfers because you see, like I said, you see the gamut from the players, like throwing clubs, you see them like really frustrated, and so that's some really good advice in terms of especially you trying to stay focused for, like you said, 4.5 hours. That's a long time to really stay focused. So let's talk about core strategy for a minute, from a caddy's perspective. What would you say you see the biggest mistakes that come from core strategy?
I would say, I mean, the biggest mistake probably is well, especially on par fives, but a lot of times people just want to hit the ball as far as possible.
Yes.
I mean, let's just say you have a 300-yard hole. Everyone just always wants to pull out a driver.
Right.
Say you hit your driver 200 yards. So now you have 100 yards to the middle of the green.
Right.
But your 100-yard shot is terrible. You hate that. Like that.
Number.
Why are you hitting the driver? Hit a 3-wood. So now
Yeah.
you 130-yard shot, and you're like, oh, I love my 8 iron, or I love my 7 iron. So that's where it comes to playing two strengths. Same thing with the par five. Yeah, you hit a driver, and then everyone just runs straight to the 3-wood. If the 3-wood's gonna put you at 50 yards, and you don't like a 50-yard shot, you either prefer a 65 or a 20-yard shot. Don't pull out the 3-wood. So that's
Yeah.
just where more
Yeah,
plan.
Tanika, you getting ready to help a lot of our juniors. I'm working with some juniors right now, and I'm teaching them that you don't have to go for all the par fives. It's okay to hit, a 250 shot, and then hit that down to 100 and have a good number into the green. So what I'm asking my juniors is, what's
what's your favorite number? What's your favorite club into the green? It could be a gap wedge, it could be a pitching wedge, it could be an 8 iron. So what I hear you saying is it's okay sometimes to hit to a number. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and
Yeah.
I'll like people like if you're not good at a 40-yard shot and your 3 wood is
Yeah.
going to put you between 40 and 50. I mean, you probably still not gonna make you're not gonna make birdie anyway because you don't like that shot.
Right.
So what's it gonna hurt to hit to 75 yards?
Yeah.
If that's a number that you like I said, I wouldn't recommend you like, oh, I like my 5 iron. I wouldn't recommend laying up that far because you give yourself a bigger room for error. But
Yeah.
you don't want to go for like hit to a spot that'll give you a number you do not like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess as a caddy, you probably not probably, but you typically would help your pro map out a course. Is that something that you typically did?
I mean, like I said, it all like I said, everyone is different. So for
Right.
some players that I work for, yes, that's what we did.
Okay.
Other ones, no, so but it all just depends. But once again, as a caddy, you have to be prepared for every situation because well, I mean, obviously now the game has changed because we can now use rangefinders, which
Yeah.
is a lot easier on the caddy. But no, you do need to at least know something about the course because you're not going to hit every fairway. You're not going to hit every green. And this is a pro. So juniors don't expect to hit 18, 18 fairways, 18 greens
Right.
every round.
Right. That's right. That's right. All right. So let's talk about pressure situations for a minute, Tanika. So let's say we got a junior golfer on the 18th hole. They're leading a tournament, right? What would you say? What advice would you give to a junior golfer to stay calm, stay cool, collect? Because typically what I see in junior golf is those last 2 to 3 holes, Tanika, they make a lot of mistakes. What would you say in that instance to help junior golfers stay calm during that final stretch of the tournament?
Well, for sure, the last 2 or 3 holes, what a lot of people do is they're already thinking about
Hmm.
you can't in golf, you can't get ahead and you can't be behind.
Wow.
So if you're on 16 green, you can't be thinking about the putt on 18. You haven't gotten there yet.
Wow.
Have to stay in the moment. And golf is a game where there's very little people have control over. You can't control how well your opponent plays. You can't control the wind. The only thing you can control is what you do. Because I mean, you can play if you're saying to yourself, all right, if I par out, I'll shoot 5 under par and I'll win.
Hmm.
What happens if your competitor goes eagle, eagle, eagle? I mean,
Right.
there's things you can't control,
Right.
but place where you can find yourself in trouble that you're on the 18th green, I mean on the 16th green, but you're thinking about the 18th tee shot.
Mm.
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
So you have to stay in the moment. I think that's a big thing junior golfers and some pros as well. They're already thinking. Even I mean some pros obviously, especially on the LPGA tour,
Right.
you 6 events left and you're like, shoots. I I need to do such and such to keep my card. And then you
Hmm.
it's 6 cuts in a row. It's like you can't because you only need one good event. So you have to be present. You have to be in the moment.
That's some really good advice to Tanika because I'm watching the second round of Q School for the PGA Tour, and I'm seeing some players come back a little bit. They had a couple of good first rounds, and they starting to come back a little bit. And first 2 rounds they're inside the cut line, and then now they're outside of the cut line because they had a little had a little hiccup day, but they can turn it around tomorrow, and and I think that's some really good advice, getting them to stay in the moment. Really good advice. So let's switch gears a little bit, Tanika, and let's talk about uh practice routine. So because I know you've probably seen a lot of LPGA golfers practice. You know, what would you say is a really good practice routine to help junior golfers be more consistent?
I would say a big thing, a lot of junior golfers just love to go to the range.
Right.
Balls, hit balls, hit balls. You give yourself perfect lies. You don't get a perfect lie every single time on the golf course. So it's more of when you are practicing, you have to find out how to hit shots. Like, okay, how many golfers that you have a fried egg in a bunker? You've never tried this before. So when you get on the course, you're like, hold on, what do I do?
Right.
Because you never practice that. You never hit out of a divot because you always give yourself the perfect lie. So sometimes mix it up, try to practice hitting, punch shots, because you may be behind a tree. So,
We're gonna talk about that next.
alrighty. So
Yeah.
no things that, but you also too, even in your practice, you want to be able to hit different distances or
Mhm.
the same distance with different clubs. Like just for
Right.
an example, 100 yards. You should be able to hit 100 yards with your pitching wedge, with your 8 iron, with your 9 iron, because, like I say, you don't know, is it going to be windy? Are you going to have a tree where you have to be a little low? So that's just where when you're practicing, you want to get yourself as prepared as possible for any possible thing. But like I say, spend a lot of time putting and chipping because that's that's where you score. You hit a driver at best 14 times around, at best, because you're not hitting
Mhm.
a driver on par threes. So
Right.
at best times around, but golf, they tell you that at least you're going to hit, if you do it in regulation, you're going to putt at least 36 times. So that means you should practice putting twice as much as you practice hitting a driver, but everyone runs to hitting 100 balls with a driver.
So Tanika, what I hear you saying is you need to spend more time on the greens. Is that right?
Yeah, great putting and chipping. I mean, that's where scores are. That's how you're gonna get your pars. That's how you're gonna save your par. That's how you're gonna make your birdies. Now, yes, you can make a bogey off of the tee, but you can't make a birdie off of the tee.
Right.
You can put the drive in the best place in the world, but then you three putt, you
Yeah.
got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
You
You
can
adding
put
strokes, right?
you can put your driver in the tree
Yeah.
and walk off with a birdie.
Yeah. So speaking of hitting your driver in the trees, how do you get junior golfers to lay up to a number after being left or right in some trees? Because what I've seen, Tanika, is every junior golfer thinks they can make the miraculous shot. They call it the hero shot, the unbelievable shot. They got trees right above them. They got all, they got trees above them. They got like three or four, five trees to go through. Give some advice to our juniors about punching out to a number and giving themselves an opportunity to make par.
I mean, and even with the punching out, you're not even sometimes you can't punch out to a number.
Right.
So it's with the when you find yourself in a situation, you just
Mhm.
want to get yourself back in play.
Yeah.
So hey, sometimes you have to hit it completely, like 15 yards. But like say
Yeah.
you go try to take that hero shot and now you're still in the trees. So now you're gonna do a punch out. So it's like, why didn't you just do that the first time? So, and a lot of times you can't hit to an exact number. It's just more okay. What place or what position is going
Mhm.
to put me in the best place to try and put the next one on the green and try and get it up and down.
There
And
you go.
sometimes that's hitting at 15 yards. Sometimes you have the opportunity to hit it about 100.
Yeah.
It's all about, okay, what gives me the next best option when you find yourself in trouble, because you don't want compounding mistakes.
Whew, Lord. We see that all the time. Compounding mistakes. I mean, I've seen it where my son's a junior golfer. Well, he was a junior golfer. He's at Howard University now. But where you can see the mistake coming because when they're in the trees, left or right, it's like they're looking toward the flag instead of looking at just kind of punching out at an angle or punching out to, back to the fairway. And we see it coming, just, when they go for the green, they hit the tree, go in the water. It's like you said,
You got
compounding mistakes.
you got to take your medicine.
Take
But
your
it's also
medicine.
but
Y'all
it's
hear that?
also these hero shots you see
Yeah.
PGA Tour players hit. They've done it thousands of times. If you're trying to hit a shot that you're like, I've never done this before, I can surely pull this off. Because these pros have done these kind of shots before. Maybe not this exact shot, but
Right.
they've practiced being behind trees. They've practiced hitting the ball left-handed if they're right-handed, turning the club around. They've practiced these things. They don't just pull up and say, oh, this seems like a good idea. Let me try it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So they've done it probably thousands of times.
Yeah, like I said, in practice, you're practicing once again, and they still don't pull it off all the time, but they have at least done it or at least know how to do it.
That's great. That's great. So for example, Taneka, we have most of our junior golfers that are playing right now, they have aspirations of playing in college, and they have aspirations of playing on the PGA Tour. What's the biggest piece of advice you could give to our junior golfers out there to go to that next level, whether it's college or pro, what would you say to them?
No, I mean, like I say, you got to reach for the stars, but it's also don't tell me you wanna be a professional golfer and you practice 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Like if this is a dream, you have to put in the work.
Right.
So, and like say, or you're like, I'm just gonna play 9 holes and then just leave. If that's what you want, you have to put in the work. But
Right.
I never played professionally, but I went the college route and I got 4 years of school completely free.
Mm.
So there are for sure benefits, especially for females. There
Right.
are scholarships out there, and for me, I didn't chase the big D1 schools. I'm like, hey, who's gonna give me a scholarship so that my parents don't have to pay for college? And I ended up going to college, and then I did, and I'm going Division 1. But
Wow.
or let me find a place where my parents don't have to pay for school. I can get my education. If golf is the way for me to get this education, let's do it. And then I ended up on tour. So it just
Enjoy it.
worked. It was never my dream, never a thought, but I
Wow.
put in and it worked out.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, Tanika, what was like your favorite course to go to, or what was your favorite tournament for you all to play in?
Okay. For sure. I mean, it's not a course, but Australia was number one. We'll go back there. Australia was number one,
Okay.
but my favorite tournament was KPMG.
Okay. Yeah.
Just KPMG and or the Canadian Open. Those were my two go-tos because KPMG they had like outstanding food, and
Hmm.
then Canadian Open they took care of the players. Levelware, they did an amazing job. We had a caddy lounge, we had massages, we had. That's when I
Wow.
player actually they came to our lounge because ours was better than theirs. So
Oh,
they
what?
they took care of us in Canada.
Wow. Wow.
Those would
So that
be those would be my, and obviously it was awesome going to Pebble Beach.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
My
Now, you,
favorite.
you do you still play today?
No,
You know?
no, I gave up. I gave up my playing. I caddied for 9 years, so I probably gave it up
Go about 9 years ago?
11 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. You think you might take it back up one day?
Uh, we'll see when that time comes.
Okay. Gotcha. You're still young,
Look, I was on tour. I was gone 27 weeks a year. My husband didn't play golf. How
Yeah.
can I say, hey, gonna go spend 5 hours on the golf course?
Yeah.
So
I get it. All right, I got some rapid fire questions for you before we wrap up, okay?
let's go.
And you can tell me why if
Okay,
if you feel like it. Driver or putter?
putter.
Okay. Any reason why?
that's just where you score.
Four. There you go. Yeah, we talked about it, right? All right. Favorite LPGA player and favorite PGA Tour player.
Favorite LPGA player, gotta give a shout out to Amy Olsen.
Hey Amy. Hey Amy. I got to get you on the podcast, Amy. So that's teasing.
Yo, Lexi Thompson too, though. She was awesome.
Yeah.
The first and when she stood there, and she was leading the tournament, and she signed autographs for 4 hours. Maybe
What?
not.
Wow.
She signed every autograph, so it might have been an hour and a half.
And
So
Lexi's tall too.
she was awesome, and she for fans. I like that.
All right. Favorite PGA Tour player.
Tiger.
Okay. Shout out to Tiger Woods. I don't know if I don't know if I can get Tiger on the podcast just yet, but we'll see. All right. Dream foursome. If you could play a round of golf with the perfect foursome, who would the other three players be?
It would not be golfers. Allen Iverson, Serena Williams.
Okay. And who's the last person?
Finally.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's a nice foursome right there. A nice foursome. All right, walk or ride?
I'm a ride.
You riding?
Oh yeah, I'm lazy.
You've been walking for 9 years, right? All right, favorite on-course snack while you're caddying?
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay. Favorite on-course drink?
Water.
Okay. Gotcha. Favorite, I don't know if you have a favorite golf movie, but you have one?
Let's say Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore? Now you've seen two?
Oh, no, I haven't. Not yet.
Me neither. Well, I'm trying to wait on my son hopefully when he gets home off the break, we can all watch it as a family. Because my wife's like, let's wait till John get home to watch Happy Gilmore too. I was like, okay, all right, I'll wait. So we'll see. So who would you like to, Taneka, give a shout out to in terms of anybody that's been inspirational in your career on tour? Who would you like to give thanks to?
Man, first I'd give thanks to God. My parents, they've been super supportive throughout the whole thing. My husband, and I would say like my go-tos, Amy Olsen, the LPGA chaplain, Chris Stevens. She kind of kept me grounded. Okay. And then a couple players that really good friends. So Sydney Clanton, Ali Ewing, and Catherine Kirk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. And how can our listeners follow you on social media, Taneka?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. My Instagram, I don't know, I think it's Taneka_242. Oh, no?
No, let me tell you. I think it's hold on, I got it right here. Taneka, don't laugh, Taneka. All right, Taneka, we can find you at, let's see. Oh, let's see here. Should be able to look at it. I got it right here. Taneka. Yeah, that's it. Taneka_242. There you go. Okay. All right. So y'all listen, it's been Taneka, it's been great having you on. Thank you so much for coming on and giving some insight to our junior golfers and the parents. We hope that you get a chance to get back out on the course and maybe in the near future, just maybe some guest appearances, maybe somebody needs a caddy for a weekend or two so we can see you out on the tour. But thank you so much for coming on, and we really appreciate you. Okay.
Yes, sir. And remember, juniors, have fun on the golf course. This isn't life or death. Have fun.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Taneka.
Have a blessed.
Thank you for listening to the Junior Golf Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments or on any of our social media networks. See you next week for a new episode